Hello and welcome to the Mirror Project. We are your hosts, Christine,
And Alexandra.
and we're thrilled to have you with us. Summer always has a way of bringing us back to ourselves, doesn't it? The long days, the warm nights, the familiar smells of sunscreen, fresh fruit, and something sizzling on the grill. I can hear it now. In this episode, Alexandra and I are taking a moment to pause and reflect on the magic of the season. What we loved growing up, what we're looking forward to now, and how we're hoping to slow things down and savor it all. This is our love letter to summer. From beach days and backyard barbecues to new adventures, favorite recipes, and small but meaningful rituals. So, whether you're listening poolside, on a road trip, or just dreaming of your next sunny escape, we hope this conversation feels like a breath of warm, fresh air. Let's get into it. Before we delve into today's riveting topic, make sure to hit that subscribe or follow button on your preferred listening platform. Take a moment to do it now before it slips your mind. Trust us, we're not getting started without you. Let's make this journey together. I think the perfect place to start, and Alexandra, correct me if I'm wrong, is to reflect on past summers. What do you think?
I think it's a great place to start.
Okay, cool. So, why don't you kick us off? Share some summertime memories, maybe something that you look back on fondly, or some favorite thing that you always loved to do growing up.
Okay, well, if we go back into the recesses of my mind and memory, I feel like from a very young age, my parents put me in a lot of like summer camps during, when school was out of session. And
Mhm.
I remember, I don't know how often I did it. Like, I definitely think I did it a few years, but there was this place called Los Cab. And
Okay.
it was kind of like a hodgepodge of activities. There And I feel like it was quite a few weeks. There was anything from like arts and crafts. And I don't know if you've ever done that plasticky string that's kind of flat and rectangular and you would, braid it in a sense to do.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
learned to do that there. Got really good at like different styles and techniques. And that was
Hmm.
fun. There was pool days, soccer, indoor things, like self defense. Like it was, I think there was some like gymnastic stuff. So it was like, a lot of kids from like very young to very like teenagers. So it was a wild it was a wild ride and I remember it being slightly chaotic, but it was fun. And then I loved pool days and at the time there was tennis camps and soccer camps when I was really young and then when I kind of stuck with taekwondo, there are always two summer camps that I would go to. There was one in July and one in August. So those took up a lot of time. I tried beach volleyball for a while. There was a couple camps. And then I remember one summer, I think I did two sailing camps in Newport Beach.
Ooh.
And that was a lot of fun. There were some funny moments. So we were sailing like Lido 14s. And at the end of the day, like we had to pull them up onto a dry dock. And I remember it was like, there was about three of us to every Lido 14. And it was my turn to take the bow line and jump onto the dock and pull it up. And I missed the dock by that much. And so I hit the dock, fall into the water, and I'm just flailing around. And I remember my best friend's mom at the time was like there before my mom was, and I looked over and she was just busting a gut laughing. It was hilarious. But that was quite funny. And then some
I'm
just really
glad you were okay.
yeah, I think it would have been different if there'd been blood in the water and stuff, but no, I was fine. It was just a very, oh, look at Alexander being Alexander kind of moment. But in many ways, it felt like summer was never ending. Growing up in Southern California, in Huntington Beach, for quite a while, lived about 2 miles from the beach. So it was easy to walk or bike to. So it kind of felt like summer was all year round. And so I do miss
Mm,
some of the sunsets. I miss the ease of walking to the beach. And like the
sure.
smell of sun, sand, and surf. And it's funny when you mentioned in our intro the smell of sunscreen. It
Mm,
is quite a visceral memory cue to
mhm.
smell sunscreen and go like you're instantly transported back to certain memories.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but for me, the sunscreen smell I smell, and I think it's just because growing up, that's what my mom used. Copper tone sunscreen, I think I feel like a lot. Maybe I don't know about the younger generation, but that's the sunscreen. Like when I think of sunscreen, that's the smell that comes to mind. And yeah, it, it is kind of cool how like scents can trigger memories. There's a feeling of nostalgia.
So, what did you love about your summers of past? What do you remember?
So for me, like you were just saying, summers always, like for you, they never felt like they ended. For me, they always felt like a time of endless possibilities. The days are longer, the nights were full of catching lightning bugs or stargazing in the backyard. And as a kid, that's what you lived for, right? Is because there's no school and it's like summer could last forever. But, you were talking about camps you did. We did camps as well. I'm trying to think back because growing up, my mom didn't go back to work until I was in fourth or fifth grade. So she was home a lot. So we didn't do a whole lot of camps. We did some, but we went to the town pool a lot. And then one summer I think you could sign up to be on the swim team at the town pool. So I did that one summer. That was kind of cool, figured out. I was a decent swimmer. I never got first place in any races, but I got second place in some.
Nice. What
That
kind
was
of
fun.
swim stroke did you like best?
I think my best stroke was breaststroke and freestyle, maybe butterfly. I was a, I was like a dead fish in the water. I don't understand how you do that stroke. It's sort of like patting your tummy, rubbing your tummy, and patting your head at the same time because your arms are doing one thing, but you have to keep your legs together doing the weirdest stroke ever. I don't know. So that must have been like a torture device someone came up with. I don't know.
And then they're like,
But
this should be mainstream.
exactly. And then one summer, my sister Nicole and we did go to a sleepaway camp, and it was actually at a campground that we would go to with our dad for that father-daughter group we were a part of. It was called Adventure Guides. So that's how we became familiar with the campground. And they do this camp in the summertime called ISTC, which stands for International Sports Training Camp. So you did a slew of sports: soccer, basketball, archery, rock climbing, swimming. There was a whole bunch to do. And it was a sleepaway camp. So it was a week long. And I went with Nicole. Tori was still too young at the time. I'm trying to remember what age I was. I can't remember. I think maybe 10, around that age, not much older. And that was a lot of fun. We only did the one time. I don't know. I'd have to ask Nicole what her experience was like. There was, I think it was like the quintessential camp experience. There was like the drama of who's dating who or who likes who. And there was a dance at the end of the week. So,
And you know
yeah.
what it makes me think of when you were saying sleepaway camp is the movie The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan. And I feel like
Yes.
if I think of a movie as a kid during the summertime, I feel like that is the movie that my mind goes to.
That is a good one. That is a good one. The only difference in the camp was ours was co-ed. So there
It's
were
true.
boys.
Yes. And you did
But it
not
was
find a
nice.
long lost twin, did you?
I did not, unfortunately, no.
Okay.
I had my actual sister with me.
The Before we hop off onto our next topic or you get into another part of summer, did you ever watch the movie The Sleepover or Sleepover with, oh my gosh,
The
all the
girl,
names of,
Jane Lynch is the mom, right? And then
yeah,
the girl from the girl from Spy
yes.
Kids.
And I
Forget
think
her name.
Shark Boying Lava Girl.
I don't know if she was in that
She
one. She
wasn't?
looks very similar. I don't know.
Okay.
We'd have to look it up. But yeah, I loved that movie.
I feel like that's like a goodbye to school, hello summer kind of movie.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. Actually, I was on like TikTok or Instagram this morning and I saw a clip from it. That scene where she's on the skateboard trying to get home and she like crosses in front of the boy she likes' his car. And
And
he's
he's,
like finally sees her for the first time. Exactly.
yeah.
It's a pretty awesome moment.
I feel like maybe one night this summer we'll have to do like a video movie night or something. Watch the same movie and chat about it. That'd be
I
fun.
love that. I think that would be really cute. Like a little nostalgia.
Yeah.
throwback episode. I like that. That's really fun.
What
But yeah,
else was about your summers that you loved and you missed?
so like I mentioned, my mom for a lot of my time growing up was still at home. So when we weren't at the town pool, we were down at my family's beach house. So lots of time spent at the beach. I love the beach. If I haven't gushed about how much I love the beach before this point, that'll be a lot of what I talk about today.
What's weird, I don't think you've ever mentioned it on the podcast. This is an entirely new side of you that we're saying, Christine. Tell us more.
Okay, well, I'd be happy to. So, yeah, growing up, we would go down to the beach, spend time down there with my grandparents, my dad's siblings sometimes would line up. So, like Memorial Day, 4th of July, all the way through Labor Day, the end of summer, watching fireworks on the beach, flying kites on the beach, looking for seashells, swimming in the ocean. I think one summer we did a swim camp or a swim team down the beach. I did an improv theater camp one summer, again with my sister,
Cool.
down when we were down at the beach. I think that was me going into high school. So, yeah, it was, I have fond memories. I love, when I think of summer, I think of Seagirt, which is the beach I grew up going to, and I'll love for the rest of my life. It's got a special place in my heart for sure. And it's funny, we're recording this on Memorial Day weekend. And I have been seeing nonstop on TikTok, on Instagram, about how Jersey does Memorial Day weekend like nobody else in the world, in the country. It's really quite funny. Like I saw something about this girl was doing a video, how she was asking a friend from California, what are your MDW plans? And they're like, MDW? Memorial Day weekend. What are your plans? It's like, that's not a thing here. But it's for Jersey, it's like the start to summer. Everything opens up, the beaches open up, pools open up. And like this weekend, the weather is pretty crappy. It's cold and been overcast, but that doesn't stop Jersey people from going all out. It's like the kickoff to summer party central. I mentioned grew up going to Seagirt. In Seagirt, New Jersey, there is a pretty infamous restaurant bar called the Parker House, literally around the block from where my grandparents have their home. So I grew up with that kind of cultural phenomenon happening around me. So it's kind of cool. It's and it's usually the spot everybody hits first when they go out at night down the shore, because it does close. I think like they're not open super late. They close maybe around midnight. So it's usually people's first stop, and then they move on to other clubs and bars after. So yeah, it's now at the age where summer at the shore is a little different. You can indulge in the adult activities of going out to bars and doing some crazy stuff. But yeah, that's what I think of when I think of summer, and I have a lot of fond memories growing up. So yeah.
So now that we've talked about summers of the past and what we miss, what's on your bucket list or what's on your list for this summer?
Oh, there's so much. We'll have to take it one step at a time. I feel like my summer plans are still coming together, which is crazy since we are almost at the end of May. But the newest exciting thing in my life is I'm officially moving. I think I mentioned in an episode or two ago that I had started to think about it. Well, I have actually pulled the trigger and I'll be moving in mid-July. So that'll be part of my summer plans, is prepping for that, figuring out all the logistical things along with moving. It's a big change. But, I'm also really looking forward to spending time with friends and family. My sisters are coming back home in early July, and then I'm going down to Nashville in late July to be with my sisters down there. So I'm excited about that. And I haven't done it in a few summers, but one of the things I loved to do growing up was going strawberry picking. There is I believe that season's also in July. July is going to be a very busy month. I have a feeling. End of June into July. What else? Yeah, I also just, summer nights are some of my favorite time of the year. That's when it starts to cool down a little bit more. So I feel like I become alive at nighttime. I mean, I'm alive at nighttime anyway. I'm a night owl. But the sun stays up a little longer this time of year. So you get to enjoy being out and about, getting ice cream and fun things like that. reading
Yeah.
some fun beach reads, maybe even on the beach.
Why not?
And then, yeah, yeah, exactly. And then I also have plans to get my next tattoo or two done that hopefully this summer. So, yeah, that's kind of what I've got in the plans. We'll see how it all, where everything falls into place. You know, things are still moving. But what about you, love? What's going
Well, I
on?
was gonna ask before we move on. What are your tattoos gonna be of? Did you ever mention them? I
Oh,
can't remember.
so one, I don't know just yet. I'm going to once when I'm down in Nashville with my sisters. I told Tori I really want to go with her. She's gotten a couple of new ones recently, and she is game. So I don't know if we're gonna do like a sister one or whatever the case may be. I also my first tattoo I got last year was like a little nod for myself. I went to a Flash event and they had a martini glass. So I got that for me because whenever I've thought about the tattoos I want, they're usually always for someone really important to me and someone important in my life. But um, I got to a point where it's like, I just need to get going. Let's just start. And the studio I follow was having an event. They were doing Flash. They had a martini glass. I thought, well, that's really fitting for me. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but the reason why I got it, I mean, my family nickname for me is Teeny. My mom sometimes calls me Teeny Martini. I love a martini. So I got that for myself. But recently I thought it would be cute to get it cheersing another glass. And both of my sisters love spritzes. Nicole loves Aperol spritzes. So does Tori.
Hmm.
We also love a limoncello spritz. So I thought I could get another glass because where it's placed, it's perfect. There's space to add something next to it. So that could be like a cute little sister, like nod to my sisters. And then I have a couple of other ideas in mind. And the next one I was thinking of doing, I have actually reached out to a tattoo artist. I'm just waiting to hear back from her. I'd like to get something for my grandma, my dad's mom, on the back of my arm. Something she always told me growing up as like a cute sentiment was I love you to the moon and back. She got me a necklace that had that engraved on it. It was something she always said or wrote in her notes, and I wanted to incorporate that into a tattoo design in her handwriting.
Hmm.
And so I was looking through my memory boxes. I didn't actually find that in her handwriting, but I noticed that she always would address each note to me as my precious angel Christine. I have this idea of doing angel wings on the back of my arm and then my precious angel in her handwriting and then have it turn into this really beautiful celestial motif that goes up my arm and onto my shoulder. So yeah, I've reached out, figuring out where to start with that, and I'm just excited to have that come to fruition. So
Very
yeah,
nice. Very cool. But that'll be beautiful. You'll have to share pictures of it when it's all said and done.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Cool.
Now your turn, my love. What's on the docket this summer?
I think one
Share with
big
the
thing
girl.
that I have to do is take Piper for more walks. I feel like I've kind of slacked on being a dog mom for a little bit. She's doing really well. She had surgery last fall, so she's a lot more energy now. And although I've been a lot busier than I intended, because I can't believe that we are like recording this just before June and this will be coming out in June. And I'm like, where did the year go? I am absolutely no idea. So I think getting her out more, trying to fit that into the busy schedule.
Sure.
I feel like focusing on my own health and fitness and strength this summer is going to be really important to me. I just want to set really good habits now because clearly life is not going to get any less busy. That let
No,
me, I feel like there's no time like the present. So I
very
think
true.
a lot of self care this summer is going to be it. So, working on my body physically, just moving my body, but also, you know, still love going to therapy. That's a great time. Working on all those mental habits and patterns that I'd like to alter and change. There's actually not a pool that I know near me. And, so I don't know that pool days will happen this summer. And I don't know that I'll get to the beach. I'm definitely missing living in Southern California and being so close to the beach that I could just walk. But it's a summer for different things. So maybe more day trips around North Carolina, like out to Raleigh or Winston, down to Charlotte, which I've already started. A friend of mine and I went down to Charlotte a few weeks ago, and we went to a romance bookstore called Trope, and they actually started out as like a van and eventually got so popular they would park at breweries and like other places, and they were got large enough that they could open a small store. So it was kind of fun to go visit and see. So I think
That's
some
cool.
that, finishing up some random crafts and projects, like all the stuff from like college graduation, I'd like to put in a shadow box and actually display it, because otherwise it's just sitting in a box in an attic. And I feel like, hey, worked really hard for that stuff. Might as well display it. So doing
Absolutely.
that. And then I feel like one of the big things for me within this next month is getting ready for a vendor show for my own business. Just a lot of prep work goes into that, making sure like how I'm going to want the tent to look, what will need to be packed, what I have to do all on the front end. Mostly so I'm not stressing the day before. Also ties into why I want to get my fitness in goals so I can like pick up things without, hurting
Yeah,
myself. So I feel like that's
it's
a big
important.
one. And like some projects around the house, helping my mom out. But I feel like this one, this summer, is just like taking care of a lot of myself. Maybe, spending time with friends and family, but I don't know. I think it's gonna be a summer of hard work and just being busy and surprised when it's end, because I'm like, wait, didn't we just start this? So I think that's it.
Sure. Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, I love that. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's gonna be make our conversations when we finally stop playing phone tag.
Yeah.
To go, like, hey, for a couple hours, what's new, what's going on, and actually have a lot to catch up
Yeah,
on, which makes it a lovely way to catch up, kind of like our cozy catch up episode.
exactly. Yeah, life has been lifing recently. It's been busy, but
Mm.
yeah, definitely think I've sort of mellowed out things work wise, and I'm looking forward to our catch ups and just taking it a little slower until I have to move. That's not going to be slow.
And then you can move, and then it'll get slower again, right? It's just gonna get
Exactly. Yeah.
busy for a moment, and then you can mellow out and settle in. And are you
Mhm.
excited for the new place?
I'm very excited. So I have been living on my own for a few years, but a good friend of mine and I are actually going to be moving into a place together. And it's great because one, I'm going to be living with one of my best friends, but also it's a bigger space. It's closer to friends and family and work. It's in an area that I know kind of pretty well. I grew up, or not grew up, I went to high school nearby. So I'm familiar with the area a little bit. And it's close for her job and her work and her family, or it's close for her work and her family. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to something new. It just sort of all came together. And speaking of it, sort of just feeling really right, or knows that one of my angel numbers or whatever, however you want to call it, my little messages from the universe I get is 1111. I see it quite often, sometimes once or twice a day. But I was reflecting on that recently. I was like, I grew up in a house number, but I grew up in a house where the number is 11.
Mhm.
My new house or the apartment is in a house and that number is 11. And the day we got approved and signed the lease, I saw 11 and 11 twice. And
Mm.
usually that only happens when, like, something I know that this is the right move. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit about this whole experience so far. So
That's
yeah,
amazing. I actually
I'm
can't
very,
wait to hopefully see it towards the end of this year when I come in December, if that's still
yeah,
on. Like you all
for
settled
sure.
in. So
By that point, hopefully, yes. We should be pretty well settled.
that's
So I'm
awesome.
excited to share it with you. Yeah. So more to come. Maybe I'll share a little update from my new place so we can share on Instagram or something. We can
That'd
do
be
like a
really
fun
fun.
little tour.
The Adventures of Moving with Christine.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Craving more of our company? Join the fun over on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Mirror Project Pod. Dive deeper into our world and engage with us on a whole new level. Don't miss out on the excitement.
Well, since we're talking about cozy home comforts, why don't we switch into what are our favorites for summer, particularly in the food and drink things? So, like Christine, are there any
Okay.
foods or drinks that you feel are quintessentially summer for you and that you're like, I must have this every summer?
Oh yes, definitely. So the first things that came to my mind were summer salads. Growing up, one of the sort of quintessential meals on the sides on the dinner table, especially in summertime, was Jersey tomatoes with spiced mozzarella, which many would call like a prese salad.
Mm-hmm.
I now know this in my adult life, but growing up, it was just. But growing up, it was just tomatoes and mutts. If you're from Jersey, we say mutts. New Jersey, New York area, mozzarella. It's usually with a yummy, delicious, sweet, fresh Jersey tomato. We slice up basil, salt, pepper, a little olive oil or Italian dressing drizzle on top, and love. Another great summertime salad that we've sort of brought into the rotation in recent years is a watermelon salad with mozzarella. I think there's other like variations of it with feta. It's a much milder cheese. Feta can be kind of salty. And we usually do that with a balsamic vinegar, drizzle, fresh basil. It's so good. And then my dad, being the grill master that he is, really goes all out in the summertime smoking like chickens or doing his ribs, steak, or like even a good old fashioned cookout barbecue with burgers and dogs. That to me just, is summer in a nutshell. And along with those delicious fresh salads and fruit salads and yummy meats, we have to finish it with this. So my grandmother has a peach cobbler recipe that I've tried my hand at a few years ago. Want to give that another try. Love a blueberry pie, even with the coffee crumb cake topping.
That sounds amazing.
So good. With some vanilla ice cream on the side, make it a little a la mode special.
Okay, so when you make that, will you send me a slice? Because that sounds amazing.
I think we can work something out.
We could, okay,
for sure.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. And then I drink this all year long because I just want summer with me all year long. But lemonade or iced tea or mixing the two, making an Arnold Palm, the best. And then one of the things I got really good at making actually during the pandemic, and I do love, is a good old fashioned coconut cream pie.
Interesting.
It's so good.
Okay.
It's really tasty.
It's funny. Coconut cream pies are never something that I'm like, oh, I must try. And I don't know what I like coconut. I just don't know why. So
for me, I grew up where in the area I grew up, there was a diner restaurant, like it was called the Minuteman. So it was sort of Americana, old country, breakfast. And they had amazing pies. So there was a chocolate cream pie and a coconut cream pie that my family would always get for different family occasions, birthdays, like holiday celebrations. And I really loved the coconut cream pie and wanted to figure out how to make it at a certain point. They stopped making it.
Oh,
I think, or owners changed hands and they weren't making it anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. And that during my COVID era I was in the kitchen baking. So I figured out how to make coconut cream pie, how to do a whole slew of things. So yeah.
Very nice. Very cool.
What about you? Yeah. What about you, love?
Okay.
What's on your to be made list?
It's funny when you mentioned the watermelon and mozzarella salad. My first thought was like, oh, we used to make that with feta. So much more of a feta person. Although I think it would be interesting to try it with mozzarella. So, okay. So things I remember from summer specifically was my mom would always make her grand's potato salad. And I love potato salad. But I don't know if we've talked about this before. I have a love-hate relationship with mayo. And so things that are like pasta salads, like tuna, other kind of salads like that are mayo-based, I have texture issues with if it's too wet. So the thing I love about my great-grand's potato salad is that it's not too wet. It's just kind of dry, and it's just one of my favorite things. It's always light, not too heavy, full of paprika on top, and sliced hard-boiled eggs. And so I'm really excited to make that. I might have to either bug my mom for the recipe or see if she'll kindly make some soon, because I feel like now that we're kind of getting into the full-blown full blown into summer, I'm like, ooh, now I really want some. And it is such a treat because like it's not something that we make very often. And since moving to the South, I feel like something that I have to do this summer, as also partially a nod to my dad, is he loved this place called Dario, and they make hot dogs and hamburgers and salads and stuff, but he loved their hot dogs. So the plan is my sister's coming up on Father's Day weekend, and her mom and I are all going to go out to Dario and have a hot dog for dad. So that'll be nice. And then
I remember going with you guys
yeah.
a couple times. You always loved a hot dog and getting a shake.
Yeah. They have good ice cream
Yeah,
there. And
they
it's
do.
funny, the way that my dad grew up either, I think having hot dogs was Dario calls it all the way, and having chili on top. And I'm more used to like soup chili, so with like beans, more broth. They mean like more like meat chili. So the all the way is hot dog bun, chili, mustard, and a little bit of chopped coleslaw. So I'll have to do that for him. And
That'd be cool.
actually I haven't had Dario in such a long time, so it'll be nice to go. Drink wise, I do love lemonade, and it's funny that when you were mentioning strawberries, I think this summer something I'd like to try is different flavored lemonades. So maybe something with like blueberry and or strawberry and flavoring it a little bit differently. So that's
Yeah.
something I'd want to try and make at home. So it's what's going into it, like less
I don't know
sugar but sweet.
Are you one of those people that lavender's soapy? Or do you like lavender and things? Because a lavender honey lemonade is delicious.
Okay, lavender honey. I'll have to try it. It depends, right? I think sometimes if the lavender smells too, like it tastes too fake, it leans soapy to me. But if it's more
Fair.
subtle, I feel like I really enjoy it. And I'm like, ooh, there's lavender in this. It adds a nice flavor profile. But then sometimes when it like punches you in the face, I do feel like, I'm like, why am I in soap? And I'm like, I don't want to drink soap or eat soap. I think I've had a lavender latte once, and there was like actual lavender buds in it. And I don't know that they added a whole lot of other lavender flavor. And I thought that was nice. But I've had ones where it's lavender flavor / lavender buds. And I was like, all right,
Fair.
I'm good. Thank you.
I actually have a tea from Harney and Son, like a loose leaf, that I'm pretty sure is just lavender. And I, for one thing or another, I brewed some lavender tea and I mixed that with lemon juice and fresh honey. So it was like, I forget the ratios of everything, but it was really, so like,
That sounds lovely.
real deal, fresh, not artificial.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I think that's what I like, the fresh, even if it's dried but not artificial. That's where I like lavender. But anything more than that, I'm like, I'm good. Thank you.
That's fair. No, that makes sense for sure.
Before we hit record, I was telling Christine I had recently tried a honey thyme cortado, and it was interesting. I don't know that it's something like, you know what, Christine, when you come down here, we're going to have to go there. We got to get the honey thyme cortado because, I mean, Christine, I feel like the past couple times I've seen you, you're drinking a lot more coffee.
I know, I am. It's very new for me. I don't do it often. And, some may look at the coffee I drink and they're like, girl, you don't drink coffee. You drink sugar with a side of coffee, which is real. With a splash. But I really don't do it all that often. But every once in a while, make a latte, or if I'm out and about, I usually do a latte. I've tried cold brew, learned the hard way that is not for me because of its strength and intensity, and experienced pretty intense side effects of caffeine, heart palpitations and all. So yeah, I've learned what my limits are, and sometimes I'll have it, and sometimes I'm just gonna stick with my tea or my seltzer or whatever.
Okay. So yeah, I think I want to try some more flavored drinks. I'd love to try making my own coffee syrups this summer because I am trying to make more coffee, cut sugar slightly out of my life. So today the caffeine is just coffee with a splash of milk, and it's part of me. It's I'm getting used to it. I also, as a funny side note, I was going to get coffee with a coworker at work. We needed some go juice, as I like to call it, for the day because we were hitting a lull. And I had made a comment that like my primary care practitioner was like, I'd like you to have only 2 caffeine drinks a day if you can. Not that I drink a crazy amount of coffee in a day, but sometimes there's a few days where it's like a 3, 4. espresso shot kind of day, maybe a cup of coffee in there. So, not every day, but some days. And so I was telling my friend that, and I was like, well, I've, already had 2 cups, so this will be the third. And she's like, you could always do decaf. And apparently my face said something like, I felt like my inner Gilmore Girls was coming out of like the disdain for decaf coffee. And I was like, I am so sorry. Didn't realize my face was doing that. But yeah, apparently I have some very strong opinions about decaf. That I was like, no, that is, why would you drink that swill? So to anyone out there who loves decaf, I'm so sorry. Please don't be offended. It's strictly my opinion. But anyways, on to desserts. We were talking about food. Something I really like to make during summer, because it's like a no bake thing, is this icebox cake. It's a chocolate espresso icebox cake. And I haven't made it in many years because I find it sometimes difficult to find the chocolate like wafer cookies. So do you remember the Nilla wafer cookies? So it's kind of like that, but chocolate and thinner. So I have not had luck in the past few years finding a wafer chocolate cookie that I want to use. But essentially, you make a lot of whipped cream. Some of it you flavor with espresso, and you have a springform pan. And so you put a layer of like chocolate wafers, then a layer of just regular whipped cream. Then you sprinkle on some like espresso cocoa powder mix, another layer of cookies, then the espresso. And then you just kind of keep layering until you finish, and you top it with a layer of plain whipped cream and a little bit of espresso cocoa powder on top. And you just let it freeze for a while, kind of get a little bit firmer. And you cut it open, and it's a really nice like icebox cake. It's very light and cool for the summer when it gets hot. So it's a really nice one. So that's really something, that, or I love the Bailey's chocolate mousse recipe that somebody showed me in college. So that'll make it. That's a good time. But you don't cook off the Bailey's, so,
Don't cook off the good stuff, that's for sure.
Right. So, Christine, are there any new places that you're dying to try this summer?
There's so much I still feel like I need to experience in Nashville. I was there a few years ago when my sister first moved out there, but she's lived there for 2 years now. And I'm excited to go back and just have her take me to all of her favorite spots. I haven't been to Broadway, and really excited to check out that scene, hear the live music, check out, some bars and restaurants, see what the food fair is like. Nashville hot chicken. I mean, I had that in a few years, but it's really good. So I'm excited about that. She loves going. There's a minor league team that plays in Nashville that she likes to go to. So I'll go to a baseball game, have a hot dog and a beer. So those are some new things I'm looking forward to trying this summer. How about you? What things do you want to try?
Oh man, new things I'd like to try. In terms of food, I feel like I've seen a lot of things pop up on Instagram for Charlotte or Raleigh. So I think I want to kind of get a list together, and I've got some friends who are definitely down for a food run to a different city. So one thing I would like to go back to, it was I don't know how to describe it, but I guess like a food hall. So there's like a bunch of different like restaurants in this one building out in Raleigh, and there was a place called Buena Papa Fry Bar, which was kind of cool. So everything was like a base of fries, and then it had all this different stuff on top based on what you ordered, and it was really good. So I would definitely want to go back there, try some of the different food options, and walk around Raleigh. So I think that's my big thing, trying to find some different things that I want to go to different places for. But yeah, I think in terms of food, that's all I can think of at the moment. Probably should have come more prepared with, a list of different places. But yeah, I think just kind of spending time with friends and trying new places together. So
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what, Christine, is on your to make list this summer? I think you kind of mentioned maybe wanting to revisit the coconut cream pie.
Yes. So pretty much everything I listed and things I love to enjoy, I really want to make.
Okay.
So would love to help my dad make some of his ribs. They're chef's kiss. So good.
Pork or beef?
The pork. He does pork ribs.
Okay.
They're so good.
Okay.
It's delicious. I don't know if I've ever had beef ribs.
Oh, girl.
I don't know.
Next time you come down, let's see if Mom will make some short ribs.
Well, short ribs I have had.
That's beef.
So okay. I didn't know if there was a difference between like...
Now I'm questioning it, but I'm pretty sure short ribs are beef.
They
No,
are, but
yes, yeah.
I didn't know if there was. I knew there's short rib. I know there's pork rib, and I thought there was like the beef equivalent of a rib from a pork.
So clearly we need to do some fact checking here.
Let me Google it really quick. So they are two different things, but they come from the same area. So
Okay.
the main difference lies in their shape and amount of meat on the bone. So a short rib, they're cut from the lower portion of the rib cage
Okay.
and are known for their thicker cut and rich flavor. Where beef back rib are cut from the upper back of the cow. They're longer, curvier, less meat on top, with the meat being between the bones. So that's why, like, when I think of ribs, I think of pork rib, but I know that there is a beef equivalent.
Interesting.
So I've had short rib, but I don't know if I've had the beef, like the beef back rib.
So, okay. But
Anyway.
I don't think I've ever had beef back ribs either. I've only ever had, when I have beef ribs, it's always short ribs. And I think I like it because there's a lot more meat on it.
I love it. And it's so tender, like delicious. So the fresh tomato salad with tomatoes from my mom's garden. And I now know, thanks to the place where I work, how to make fresh mozzarella. So maybe make everything fresh. Fresh mozzarella, by the way, it's so good. It's better than any store-bought. I mean, it's elite. I will just say that. Would love to make some homemade peach cobbler with ice cream, maybe. And then actually what I'd like to do this weekend, if possible, kick off summer, make some fresh guac with a Corona and lime. So, always perfect. As I said before, chef's gift. Mwah. Delish. How about you? What are you looking to make?
So I think I mentioned earlier that I would like to start making some like my own coffee syrups and stuff. So maybe just start small, not a whole lot of any one thing, try different things. I feel like I've seen so many different things on Instagram and Reels that I would love to try. And I feel like one of those trends is like the smash taco. So whether it be beef or a chicken with Caesar salad on a taco, I feel like that would be fun. Fun to try, see if it works.
Speaking of chicken Caesar salad on a taco, I recently had it on pizza.
How was that?
Good. It was really good. I had a great time.
I will say I kind of miss that about Jersey, that just the variety of toppings that you put on pizza. Down here, they don't seem to do a whole lot of that. And I'm like, you know what? It was strange when I first moved to Jersey that I was like, what are you all doing to pizza?
But get this. So I don't know if I mentioned, my boss is actually originally from Italy, and a lot of the shit we put on pizza here isn't a thing. But in Italy, they do have a pizza called Americana or Americano, pizza Americano. Yeah. Do you have a guess what they put on pizza for our American pizza?
Am I going to be ashamed? Or
you're gonna be like, that's not a thing. We would never. As far as I know, I've never seen a pizza here in America with those toppings.
I'm a little afraid.
When you think American cuisine, what first comes to mind?
Like, I guess hot dogs. No.
They put hot dogs and French fries on a pizza, and they call that American pizza. And so you can buy that. But as far as I know, I have never seen a hot dog.
I've seen French fries on a pizza.
Yes, or I've seen pasta. I've seen So that's just like something now you all know too. Thanks for joining me in this awful discovery.
I'm sorry. I think I need to. I'm sitting down. I was like, I think I need to be on the floor. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Okay.
You're welcome.
I don't think I was saying thank you there, my friend. Okay.
You didn't have to.
Yeah. All right. Now that I'm gonna move on from that because that's weirding me out.
Sure. Moving on.
So, I don't know about you, Christine, but did you ever like Girl Scout cookies? So I
sold a bunch in my day.
I saw a recipe for healthy Thin Mints that I think I would like to try as maybe less ingredients, less preservatives and stuff, but still kind of get that chocolatey, minty feel and a taste. There is a lemon Earl Grey Tres Leches cake that I saw on Instagram that I'd like to try. And you kind of make it in one of those, I don't know what to call it, like cylindrical, short, like margarita glasses. So I think that would be really fun. Different cookie recipes.
Like a coupe? Like a coupe?
No.
Okay,
I don't know.
never
I
mind.
have to show you the picture of it. But it doesn't have a rounded bottom. It's almost like a flat. If you just took a cylinder and chopped part of it off and then
Yeah.
stuck a stem on it.
Yeah, I think I've seen those too, and they may call them coupes or
Okay.
like another version of coupe or margarita glass or something. Yeah,
Something.
but
So, yes,
they're cool.
they are pretty. And so I think I want to make a lot of desserts. Do I want to eat all of them? No. So I need to bring them into work and put them on the different floors of the office building and spread out the love. I saw like a recipe for a black sesame cookie.
Ooh,
So
I
just
do love sesame.
I think I want to.
Can you make that when I come to visit?
Sure, let me know when you're coming and I'll try a batch before you get here and then
Oh,
have it made. So,
perfect.
and part of why I want to do this is because I was given some really dark chocolate and couldn't finish it at home. And so I was like, let me bring this into work. And everyone, at the time, everyone hated it. And they were like,
Oh,
who brought in this? This is terrible. Everyone was taking a bite and basically spitting it back out. And I felt so
oh,
bad. But I was like, also, I'm like, I couldn't eat it and I didn't want to throw it out. So I was like, maybe other people will enjoy it. So I feel like I need to redeem myself from that with maybe some better sweets that I bring in. But later I brought in, again, had gotten a lot of chocolate from something and it was just too much to have at home. So I brought in a bag. They were like the Lindt truffles. Most people loved them except for one person. She's, who brought these in? And I was like, not again. I was like, I did. I had to make up for the previous chocolate. She's, I liked the other chocolate. I was so mad when they were gone. It's just, this is too sweet. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
you're the only one, babe.
Yeah.
You're the only one.
I was like, you
Noted.
should have taken it all then. But
Well, now you know what to get her for the
I
holidays.
know, right? I'll just get her the extra dark. I mean, it was very dark chocolate. And I enjoy dark chocolate, but this was
Like 98% dark, like whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
that's bitter.
it was
Bitter.
bitter and very little taste. To me, very
Ooh,
little taste. So it's like,
yeah. I like dark chocolate too, but this extra super darks. No. We
like
sell some of those bars at work, and I'm like, could never.
I'm like, they're definitely not something I'm like, you know what, let me eat this. This is cut this up, chop it up to go into a recipe of something.
Sure, yeah, figure out. Oh, there goes my dad.
I think
Sorry.
I'd also like to try and make mole, like chicken with mole this summer.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah. That's something I'd like to get into more is learning how to make some authentic cuisine. I work with several women from some are from Colombia, some are from Costa Rica. So I feel like there's a lot for me to learn from them. So yeah.
I miss homemade tamales. They were so good. Being in Southern California, like there was a lot of
Sure.
really authentic Mexican food and a lot of that wasn't. So
Mm.
my mom had a coworker who her whole family was like involved in, I don't know how to describe. So, you know, quinceañeras.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So
that's like the sweet 16, but for 15.
15. And it's a big thing. And one of her
Mhm.
coworkers had that their family was basically involved in different parts of helping set up that event. So her brother was like a makeup artist and helped style the girls. And then her dad was a chef or would do a lot of the catering, so making the food, and her mom would make the cake. She and her mom would make the cakes, and she would help set up venues and stuff. So they kind of were all involved in this family business of organizing different quinceañeras. And she had brought in some food for my mom, and mom brought it home, and it was such really good food. And I think her dad was more from like a coastal town in Mexico. I don't remember, but it was so fresh. It was so delicious. And now I really want chicken tinga. But yeah, I do miss Southern California in that sense. It was good Mexican food. Yeah, so I feel like this summer is like just an experimental time, just kind of trying different things and seeing what works and what might be some recipe fails.
Sure. Yeah, that's the beauty of it, though. Trying new things, figuring out what works and what doesn't, but most importantly, having fun.
Like last
Yeah.
night, I was making paneer tikka masala, and I'm cooking, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. Why doesn't this look right? It's not tasting right. Only to realize I forgot the tomato paste, and I was like, oh, let me add that.
No.
At least it was not
I
far
do
enough that I had couldn't add it.
That's the point of no return.
Yeah, I was like, this really doesn't look right.
Whoopsie.
Oops.
I do love paneer. I do love paneer, and I love tikka masala. So yum.
Well, next time you're down,
Would
make
love
it.
to. Yeah, would love to learn how to make it. at home because typically like we usually order in Indian food, but give a go at making it.
Do you like leftovers? Are you a leftover person?
I feel like we've talked about this.
I feel like your answer is no.
I'm not the biggest leftover person. It depends on what it is and how much leftovers there are. Like, I love leftover Chinese food, leftover Indian food. Not really into leftover, I don't know, grilled chicken, salad. Fair. There's certain things where, and then usually I don't eat it immediately the next day or for the next meal. I like to.
Well, then in that case, I feel like the Indian, what I make makes a lot. So you could probably freeze some of it and then pull it out for another meal.
Yeah,
later.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I feel like it's not something I would make often, so I wouldn't mind leftovers. I've tried the meal prep thing. It's not, I need more variety in my life. But now that I'm going to be living with someone, I won't feel as bad. The food will get eaten one way or another. So that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am excited to be cooking more and baking more now that I will be living with somebody because cooking, for one, I think I've talked about this before, is hard. And not being a leftover person makes it even more difficult. Yeah. And food waste makes me cry and die inside. So I never want to be wasteful. So usually that leads to girl dinner. So like it's really, a hodgepodge of stuff or ordering in or going out or going back to my parents and letting them feed me. So, which is fun for me and them, I'm pretty sure.
They like to see you and chat with you. Yeah. So that sounds lovely.
Exactly.
I feel like that.
All right.
That covers food.
That covers food. I don't think there's anything else left for us to talk about in that realm. So in that case, let's close out this fun summertime convo with what do we want to prioritize this summer? Alexandra, what are you hoping to prioritize? I think definitely talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely talked about it, but really good food, nutritious food for my body, but also trying new recipes and things and then moving my body. I would love to actually develop a yoga practice again this summer as an alternate way to move my body because I've mentioned before I have a Peloton and I love cycling. Kind of getting into their strength content, which is new for me and it's really good for my body. So kind of enjoying moving my body in different ways. I even tried attempting, and I say this loosely, jogging, running this past week at work. Some of my coworkers and we try to walk 30 minutes of our lunch every day when we can, but one person couldn't go and I wanted to attempt running. And let's be honest, it was mostly jogging. And later that day, my legs were like, I'm sorry, what are we doing? We don't move this way. What have you done?
Aww.
So I don't think I'll ever be a runner, but it's something I'd like to throw in for variety. And I really enjoy moving my body, I enjoy exercising. So I want to find a way to keep that fun and light. I think a big thing for me is still carrying over from our cozy catch up, like the urge to purge. It's been not a whole lot of purging lately, but I really want to get through my closet and like old products that I just haven't used, I'm not using. You mentioned about food waste. Like sometimes I hate wasting products that I've spent money on, but if I'm not using it and it's years old, I think I just need to at some point let it go. So I think this is a big summer of letting go and kind of figuring out how to be present. I think I spent a lot of time thinking about the past and concerned and worrying about the future, that trying to be present is a goal this summer and something I want to prioritize. But yeah, I think those are the big things this summer. What about you, Christine? What are your priorities this summer?
Well, I think a lot of with what you were sharing, I second and definitely want to focus on. I love self-care. I think it's super important. And I think that there's ways you can do it at home and make it a part of your daily ritual. I love an at-home spa night, taking care of your soul and your body, getting outside when it's not too hot later in the day, walking, just moving your body. Would love to get in a lot of swimming when I can, whether that's at a pool or at the beach. I don't necessarily, probably more so at the beach. I don't necessarily have a pool I can go to right now. What else? And I too will be needing to work on purging a bit because with this move, it's a perfect opportunity for me to go through everything, get rid of things that I just don't need anymore or have expired when it comes to products or clothes that you don't wear or, you know, furniture you don't need, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
So that will also be on my summer, probably what I'll be doing most of June. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the plan.
Any other last things about summer that you're hoping to do, accomplish, fit in?
Well, as I just shared, like the big priority will be the move. And then beyond that, prioritizing my mental and physical wellness, reading and learning something new is always something I want to, prioritize and bring more into my day-to-day practices, keeping your mind sharp as well as your body.
Mhm.
And then I'd still really like to try and plan a road trip early fall up maybe up the coast up to Maine. I've never been to Maine. And I was with my mom and my aunt earlier this past week and we were chit-chatting and I was sharing some exciting changes, the fact that I'm most likely moving and that the travel plans have been shifting around and that I'm thinking about doing a road trip up to Maine because I've never been. And she shared that my grandmother, Gran, I call her Gran, she kept all of her old itineraries. So I thought that could be kind of like a um, cool trip that I can sort of do and emulate what I do after what she's done and go and experience those places that she always loved. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. I got to figure out how to work that in to everything else that'll be going on this summer, but
Nice.
that's what I'm thinking.
Very
How about
cool.
you? What other things you got going?
I think other than what we've already mentioned, I think there's a couple like home improvement projects that I'd like to get done. So if you can see the bookshelf next to me that Christine very kindly helped me style, I will have to take down and put into
Take
boxes.
pictures.
I did. They are somewhere on my phone. I might have to go back and delete them and then take new pictures closer. Not that I don't want the bookshelf. Christine knows I am actually almost already busting out of the seams of this bookshelf, but it currently has a back on it. And so like we record and I'm filming in my room and I've got like my bed on the other side of the bookshelf and then this officey other space in my bedroom. And I'd really like to take the back of the bookshelf so that more natural light can come through. And theoretically, maybe I can have more of the bookshelf because I could then have books on either side. So that's a big one. So mostly I want to take off the back and lift it up a little bit. And then, painting my room because I'm not totally loving the cinnamon brown with the
Green.
darker army forest, not quite forest green going on here. So just some home
What color
improvement.
are you thinking?
I don't know if anyone can see it, but that kind of like light gray of the loft area is kind of what I would love to do. And then maybe an accent color of a more true forest green or some sort of maybe like a textured wallpaper that has like a black background with some really vivid colors on it, only on one wall or something. So I think that might be pretty. And then I could do like accents of like forest. Really, apparently I'm into forest green right now. So those are some of the big projects that I'd like to hopefully accomplish this summer in amidst
I
everything
love.
else.
Of course. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to do like a little update maybe sometime in September or what did we get up to this summer?
It'll be a great, mental thing of, okay, I have to have it done by then. Be like, okay, stick to it. Get it done. So,
Yeah. Awesome. All right, cool. Love it.
all right.
Well, I'm ready for summer to start now. Let's go.
We're already in summer. All right, everyone. And that brings us to the end of our love letter to summer, a season that's never just about the sunshine, but about the memories we make, the simple joys we savor, and the intentions we set for ourselves. Whether it's a favorite place, a favorite flavor, or a quiet moment you're claiming just for you, we hope this inspires you to lean fully into what lights you up this season. Next week, we'll be taking an even deeper journey into the work of healing inherited wounds and how choosing to heal can open doors we didn't even realize were closed. It's a conversation about reclaiming your story, and we can't wait to walk through it with you. Until then, may your days be a little slower, your heart a little lighter, and your summer everything you need it to be. See you next week. Are you enjoying the banter and insights we're serving up? If so, consider tossing some support our way through our Buy Us a Coffee page. Every bit helps in fueling this passion project of ours. Find the link in our show notes and visit our link tree. We are immensely grateful for your generosity. As we wrap up, remember to hit that like, subscribe, or follow button on your preferred platform. Until next time, let's keep the conversations going, and we'll catch you on the next episode.